Is their friendship standing at the edge of a cliff? Or is this the end of something they've kept hidden for so long? One question lingers in the air, haunting millions of BTS fans around the world. What really happened between Taehyung and Jungkook that made the golden magne cry endlessly? No one was prepared for a reality like this. That day, the sky above the military camp was gray. Clouds hung heavily, as if waiting for the moment to burst. And right in the middle of that gloomy atmosphere, a dark military vehicle stopped at the west gate of the training camp where Jungkook was stationed. From inside, stepped out a familiar figure, Kim Taehyung, but this time, he didn't come with a calming smile we usually see on screen, nor with the charming laid-back V style. He came carrying a burden, and that burden, without a single word, was enough to change Jungkook's expression in just minutes. Taehyung said something heavy. Jungkook immediately changed. "We've never seen him like that," said a soldier who witnessed the event from afar. Did I end that closed room? There were only two people, Taehyung and Jungkook.
No cameras, no managers, no bodyguards.
Just silence and emotions erupting in quiet. For over an hour, no one knew what was discussed. But when the door opened again, only one thing was clear. Jungkook was crying. Yes, not just normal crying. Not tears of joy or exhaustion. These were tears from a shaken soul. The cry of someone who had just heard something that could change everything. Meanwhile, Taehyung stood with his back to the door, lowered his head for a moment, then walked out without a single word. He didn't look back, didn't wipe his tears, didn't greet anyone. He just left, as if he knew what had just happened couldn't be undone. He looked broken, but calm, like someone who had just let go of the thing he protected most, said a military staff member with a trembling voice. Longtime BTS fans know that the relationship between Taehyung and Jungkook has never been simple. They are not just friends, not just groupmates. They are two magnetic poles constantly pulling each other, sometimes merging, sometimes drifting apart. There were times they were inseparable, sharing laughter, secrets, even dreams. But there were also cold times when they no longer talked in front of the camera and fans wondered, what's really going on? Now, all those questions seem to find a piece of the answer. In one visit, one cry, one silent goodbye full of wounds. This isn't about the military. This isn't about physical exhaustion. This is something much deeper. This is about a relationship that has been hidden all this time, said a senior army on an international fan forum. A close source interviewed by local media revealed that Taehyung had said before entering the meeting room, "I have to talk before it's too late. I don't want to keep this any longer." An ambiguous statement, but filled with emotional weight. What did Taehyung mean? Was this about feelings he had been holding in? Or was it a confession about a major decision that could affect their relationship, or even BTS's future? Many fans began speculating that the meeting was a final confrontation, that Taehyung might have revealed his wish to leave the entertainment industry after his military service, or even not return as a part of BTS. Others suggested that it was something much more personal, about past wounds, about small betrayals that became big, about broken promises, and about feelings that were never revealed at the right time. That a few hours after the incident, Jungkook was reportedly isolating himself in his dorm. He didn't talk to anyone, didn't eat, didn't leave his room, just sat and cried in silence. A close friend of Jungkook, who is also stationed in the same camp, said, "He said one sentence that gave me chills. I'm not ready to lose him." And he cried again. I've never seen Jungkook like that. Never. That sentence cut deep. A sentence that made millions of fans wonder, did we just lose something that will never return? On social media, public reactions were highly emotional. Many armies cried while reading the reports, writing heartfelt messages and hopes that both of them could heal. But there were also cynical responses, claiming that this was just a well-packaged drama to maintain media attention during BTS's entertainment hiatus. They're human. They can have conflicts. But this way, it's too emotional, too public. Maybe intentional, wrote a skeptical netizen on Twitter. However, most people still felt the real pain behind the story. Because no matter how big their stage is, behind the military uniforms and cameras, Taehyung and Jungkook are still just two young men trying to find their place in a world that's too harsh. The big question now hangs. Is this a farewell moment? Or the beginning of healing? No one knows for sure. What is certain is that after that day, Taehyung and Jungkook's relationship will never be the same again. Is all this real? Or just a drama designed for media attention? Jungkook's tears, Taehyung's heavy steps, a closed room, and a world that suddenly stopped breathing. But let's pause for a moment and ask, did all this really happen? Or are we being pulled into a narrative carefully crafted to hold our gaze, shock us, and ultimately, trap us? The news about the emotional meeting between Taehyung and Jungkook at the military camp has shaken the internet. The response flooding social media is overwhelming. Millions of retweets, tears, conspiracy theories, and prayers from around the world. Yet behind it all, one voice is starting to grow louder. Is this really reality? Or are we being deceived by a storyline crafted too perfectly? Did Jungkook really cry? Where is the real evidence? One thing to highlight. There are no official photos or videos showing the alleged crying moment of Jungkook. All the information comes from anonymous sources, close friends, camp soldiers, and insiders. The question, can we still call this news? Or is it more appropriate to call it a fictional narrative presented as reality? Think about it. In an era where cameras can capture every second of a celebrity's life, how is it possible that there is not a single visual documentation of what's said to be such an emotional and dramatic meeting? Is the media really hiding the truth? Or are they creating the reality they want? BTS is always in the spotlight. Is this just a media strategy? There's no denying that even the smallest movement from BTS members can generate global headlines. But when all of them are currently serving in the military, and there are no official activities to attract public attention, suddenly a story like this appears. Sudden, dramatic, personal, and most importantly, unverifiable. Did this really happen? Or do they just want us to talk about them again, when the world is starting to forget them for a while? A viral comment from a Twitter user did, on the other hand, hardcore armies deny such accusations. They believe it's too insensitive to consider Jungkook's tears as part of a script. But if we stay neutral, isn't it also possible that this is part of a crisis management strategy, or even a warm-up plan for BTS's comeback later on? However, many also believe this is not a hoax. They believe emotional truth doesn't always need visual proof. That even if there's no video, feelings are still real. These questions are not easy to answer. But let's be honest. In an age where every emotion can be sold, every tear can become content, and every rumor can trend globally, do we really know where the line is between reality and the stage? One day, we'll know the truth. But that day hasn't come yet. As of now, there has been no official clarification from hybe, the military, or the BTS members themselves. They choose silence. And perhaps, in that silence lies the scariest answer, because maybe the most painful thing is not if it's all fake, but if it's all true, and there's nothing we can do but watch from afar. Now we ask you, the reader, what do you think? Are you moved by this story? Or do you feel deceived? Is this a real moment showing the human side of two of the world's biggest stars, or just another stage? Crafted so we can't look away, write down your opinion. Your voice matters. Because in a world blurred between fact and fiction, public opinion might be the only mirror that reveals the truth.